Shalom, welcome to another video, and as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wadash, and next double honors to the head apostles / other bishops of the great millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of whether people hear or whether they forbear. All right, it's going to be a quick reading of Leviticus, the 19th chapter. All right, once again, studying the law, okay, because the law is the foundation, okay, the foundation of the scriptures, all right, the law and the prophets. All right, so, these are just good things to know, all right, everyday life practices, all right, but we're going to go ahead and dive right into it, and Yahweh righteous, Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. All right, so starting off, Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 1, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, your power, am holy. And ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am Yahweh Bashmi Shai, your power. Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am Yahweh Bashmi Shai, your power." Okay, so right there, okay, well, we got fearing your mother and father, all right, which means a deep level of reverence and respect. All right, not turning unto idols. Okay, that's a big one. The Most High constantly, all right, constantly talks about idol worship. That's one of the biggest offenses. You go to Exodus, the 20th chapter, all right, which is where you get the Ten Commandments from. Okay, it's reiterated. That's one of the main of the Ten Commandments, okay, which is many more than that. I just use that as an example because that's what people know of. All right, but it said, it tells you that thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay, so the Most High does not like idol worship. Verse 5, it says, "And if you offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord, ye shall offer it at your own will. And it shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow. And if aught remain until the third day, it shall be burnt in the fire. And if it be eaten at all on the third day, it is abominable and shall not be accepted." Obviously, we don't do animal sacrifice anymore, so this is, the different offerings and all that doesn't apply anymore. Okay, but the commandments still apply, and that's another thing too, is that, okay, the atonement part of the law was done away with because of Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, as it says in Hebrews 10. Verses 10 on down. Okay, but the commandments still, are in effect. Okay, as in what, not turning unto idols. Deep reverence for mother and father. All right, continuing on, verse 8, it says, "Therefore, everyone that eateth it shall bear his iniquity, because he hath profaned the hallowed thing of the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people." All right, now, once again, that's sacrificial laws. Those don't apply anymore. Okay, now the next portion of this chapter is entitled Sundry Laws. That's the definition of that word, sundry. All right, just various kinds or several. Okay, so just multiple different types of laws. All right, so Leviticus 19 and 9. "And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. Thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of the vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and the stranger. I am Yahweh, your power." Okay, so all right, this is like a system of I guess you could say, not, I don't want to call it socialism. All right, but when you have crops, okay, you're supposed to leave the corners, all right, of the field, all right, for the poor, okay, and not take every fruit off the tree or every grape off the vine. Okay, once again, so that the poor and the stranger can eat. All right, so the Most High, He makes sure that the poor are taken care of. Let's get a quick precept on that. All right, there's so many scriptures about going into alms and all that, giving to the poor. Proverbs 29:7. It says, "The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it." Okay, and this is one of the things that Esau is hated for. Okay, is that he takes everything. All right, Obadiah chapter 1 So we just read the law on how you're not supposed to take all the grapes off the vine, leave some fruits, for the poor, right? Okay, Obadiah chapter 1, and let me see. It tells you, boom, right here, Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 5. Okay, it says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Okay, so, all right, a righteous man is going to follow the law, leaving some for the poor, for the homeless, considering the cause of the poor. But Esau, he going to take everything. All right, he don't want you to have nothing. All right. Okay, so going back, Proverbs 29:7, the righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. All right, let's also get Proverbs 21:13. All right, so just, giving alms is taking care of the poor, is pleasing to the Most High. Proverbs 21:13, whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. There you go. All right, because it's within the law, for those that are fortunate to take care of the unfortunate. All right, continuing on though, Leviticus 19:11. It's like it says, ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another. And all that finesse culture and all that, that's a sin. Okay, you deal falsely, that's finessing. All right, let's read this in NLT. All right, because YNs love to talk about how they finesse, they jugging and all that. Okay, when the Lord put you to death, you know the reason why. It says, do not deceive or cheat one another. In the NLT, do not steal and do not deceive or cheat one another. That's plain. Okay, our people are masters at deception, man. All right, and they learn that crap from Esau, because that's Esau's mindset. But our people, they love talking about, I didn't finesse, I didn't jug and all that. Okay, well, like I said, when you get put to death, when Pookie and Ray Ray get shot in the damn face, that's why I ain't gonna feel bad for you. I ain't gonna shed a tear. I'm gonna thank the Lord when He bring judgment upon all the YNs. All right, continuing on though. Leviticus 19:12, but ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shall thou profane the name of thy power. I am Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, swear by His name falsely. Read it NLT. It says, do not bring shame on the name of your God by using it to swear falsely, I am the Lord. Okay, so saying that you're serving the Lord and then, falsely misrepresenting. All right, Leviticus 19:13, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Okay, so once again, don't defraud, all right, steal, rob. All right, and when somebody comes and works for you, really, the system that Esau has where they hold your money for 2 weeks, that's really wicked. Okay, you're supposed to pay them out daily. All right, once again, do not let his hire, the wages of his hire, okay, abide with thee all night until the morning. You're supposed to pay him out as soon as he finished the work. It says, thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear Yahweh thy power. I am Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, so once again, taking care of the deaf, okay, the blind, just being courteous and considerate. I mean, this is basic stuff, man, okay? This is really basic stuff, right? But, Jake, man, the reason why the world is conditioned the way it's in is because of Esau pushing the vibration out that there is no law, okay? Esau has told our people that there is no law through his plantation Christianity, and that's why people are so treacherous, because they believe there's no law. They believe that ain't gonna be no judgment. Okay, they overplay the mercy of the Most High, which He's merciful, but if you abuse His mercy, He will destroy you. Okay, but they don't see Jake. They don't read this kind of stuff. Our people don't read this because they've been told that the law is done away with. That's the Old Testament. Okay, when it's all the same book. But see, when you live by these laws, okay, and you sow good, then you'll reap in blessings. You'll reap in good. All right. But anyways, continuing on. Leviticus 19:15, ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Okay, so give folks a fair shake. Okay, let's get John 7:24. All right, it says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. That's plain. All right, that's plain. Continuing on. Verse 16, thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am Yahweh Bashmel Shai. Let's get this in the NLT. It says, do not spread slanderous gossip among your people. Do not stand idly by when your neighbor's life is threatened. I am the Lord. Okay, there you go. So you're supposed to look out for one another, protect one another. Once again, Jake don't think like this. It's a dog-eat-dog world. All right. And one again, spreading slanderous gossip. Okay, like how all the people were saying that GMS was rapist. Okay, you guys are going to pay for that, man. All right. You guys are going to pay for that. Best believe it. Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. And that's exactly what we do. Okay, bring out righteous rebuke on a consistent basis. Verse 18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, so once again, everything that you read in the New Testament goes back to the Old, man. It's all just, the law is the foundation. Okay, Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So the Most High is the one who executes vengeance on our behalf. Okay, it says, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Okay, amongst those of your nation. All right. So, anyways, once again, this is referring to who? Okay, the children of thy people. Right, but you're not supposed to, once again, hold grudges against people. You're not supposed to avenge yourself. All right, allow the Lord to do all that. Okay, he'll do it in due time. Okay, and also, another thing too is that you want to receive mercy, because all of us have done wrong and all of us are really worthy of punishment. You know what I'm saying? So that's why if you want to receive mercy, you gotta be merciful towards other people. That doesn't mean you don't rebuke them though, because Jacob says, "So you guys don't got no mercy. You make videos on people." Well, that's rebuke. Okay, same thing it says in verse 17. All right, rebuke is actually mercy, really, but you gotta have a wise man's mindset to see it that way. Okay, but anyways, continue on. Leviticus 19:19. It says, "You shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed." Okay, can't plant apples and oranges right on top of each other. All right. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee. So you're not supposed to wear mixed fabric. That's where this comes from. All right. But some of these laws, man, it's not possible for us to keep them. That's why we're rehearsing the righteous acts. But it's still good to learn, and there's nothing wrong with actually attempting to do these things. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. If you want to do your best to not wear mixed fabrics, go right ahead. I've thought about it. When I buy clothing in my personal life, for the most part, I pretty much wear basic clothing, very simple, a white T-shirt and some jeans or something like that. Which they do have 100% cotton jeans you can buy. Okay, 100% cotton underwear. 100% cotton socks. You can make it work. But it's just you do the best that you can. That's it. You just do the best that you can. The Most High, is mostly concerned with if we truly have faith. Okay, the things that you can control, then you're gonna do them to the best of your ability because you love the Lord. All right, but anyways, let's continue on. It's still good to read this stuff because that's nothing too. Is that okay? This is what we're gonna be governing and governed by in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, which will be perfect. Yahweh Rajah will be part of that number. That's the first fruits of the kingdom of heaven. But when we get them new bodies, all right, all of these laws will be in our inward parts. We're going to know them all by heart, okay? And it'll be impossible for us to sin. But anyways, continuing on, Leviticus 19:20. And whosoever lieth carnally with a woman that is a bondmaid, betrothed to an husband, and not at all redeemed, nor freedom given her, she shall be scourged, and they shall not be put to death because she was not free. Okay, and he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Lord, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, even a ram for a trespass offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before the Lord for his sin which he hath done, and the sin which he hath done shall be forgiven him. And when he shall come into the land, and shall have planted all manner of trees for food, then ye shall count the fruit thereof as uncircumcised 3 years shall it be as uncircumcised unto you, and it shall not be eaten of. Okay, so when you do get new land and you plant it, you're really not supposed to eat anything that the land grows for 3 years. Okay, like I said, these are things that we don't even have our own land in today's time for the most part. But you're supposed to have land Sabbath. You're supposed to, I think that's another law. It talks about 6 years where you till the land and plant, and then the seventh year where you let the land rest. And what that does is it keeps the nutrients in the soil. You don't overwork the land. Okay, so a lot of different laws, and like I said, in the kingdom of heaven, everything's gonna be perfected. And we're gonna rule over this earth according to these laws. All right, continuing on though, it says, but in the fourth year, all the fruit thereof shall be holy to praise the Lord withal. So, the fourth year, that fruit, okay. In NLT, it says, in the fourth year, the entire crop must be consecrated to the Lord as a celebration of praise. Okay, so fourth year, all the crops become an offering. And then in the fifth year, it says, and in the fifth year shall ye eat of the fruit thereof, that it may yield unto you the increase thereof. I am Yahweh your power. So in the fifth year, that's when you can actually eat the food. Okay. Yet ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantment nor observe time. So you're not supposed to. You go to the Texas Roadhouse or Outback Steakhouse or something like that, and they ask you what kind of steak you want. It's supposed to be well done. No, okay, you're not supposed to eat a bloody ass, damn raw steak like an Edomite do. Okay. So you should not eat anything with the blood, neither shall you use enchantment, nor observe times. Okay, let's read this in NLT. Alright, Leviticus 19:26, New Living Translation. Do not eat meat that has not been drained of its blood, and do not practice fortune telling or witchcraft. Okay, so you can't fucking do tarot cards like that jackass on that video that South Carolina did. You can't do tarot cards. Alright, you cannot go and get crystal ball readings, none of that dumb shit. Okay? That's all considered witchcraft, divination. And the Lord said, I suffer not a witch to live. Alright, so what's going to happen? You do that, then you're going to be fucking stoned to death and set on fire when the missiles come. Okay, Leviticus 19:27, you shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall mar the corners of thy beards. Let's get that. NLT. Do not trim off the hair on your temples or trim your beards. So you're not supposed to get no fades. You're not supposed to get fresh, sharp lineups. You're not supposed to shape your beard. Okay, everything flow naturally. Verse 28, you shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead. When the Hamites do that, you be seeing all them keloid spots on their body. That's because they be cutting their flesh up. Nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. So you ain't supposed to get no tattoos. Alright, if you got them, you got them. But once you're in the truth, you don't get no more. Alright, it says, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness. That's exactly what Esau has pushed, is whoredom, and it's caused straight wickedness amongst our people. Alright, so because Esau knows these laws, that's why he tell you the law done away with. He tried to do everything he can to get you to disobey, so that he can destroy you. Leviticus 19:30, you shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. Once again, witches, warlocks, okay, demoniacs, all right, fortune tellers, whatever it is, all right, that's left-hand spiritual energy, you ain't supposed to fuck with, man. It's just that plain and simple. We know Jake gonna do what they want to do, but we gotta tell you, we gotta warn you. Because, hey, once we do that, your blood is on your own head. Continuing on, verse 32. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy power. I am Yahweh Shmi Shai. So give reverence to the old and to the aged. Okay. It says, and if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him. All right. And if you go to Leviticus 25, let's go there right quick. It tells you what stranger is talking about. It ain't talking about, it ain't talking about just anybody. It's talking about the strangers that come from other lands, but they're Israelites. Okay, Leviticus 25 and verse 35. It says, and if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Okay? So, if your brother, all right, once again, of the children of Israel, all right, you're not supposed to, vex them or, like I said, yeah, he let him sojourn with thee and let him be as one as born among you, as it says in the next verse, Leviticus 19:34. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Salakia, long day. I am Yahweh, your power. And ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure. So, you're weighing things out. Okay, you're selling some. That's really finessing too. It's part of finessing. Like, you know, if you was weighing, let's say you was weighing out food to sell, and you altered the scales or something like that. Okay, yeah, that would be considered wicked. That's like finessing somebody. All right, let's read in the NLT. NLT, it says, do not use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or volume. Boom, that's it. Okay, verse 36. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am Yahweh your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. I am Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's it. So this chapter is just kind of random laws, but it's a beautiful chapter. One of my favorites. All right, Yahweh Jazah. It was edifying to y'all. All praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakh Kodesh. And until next time, Shalom and a Bible ball.